Hey everyone, welcome to Wiki University, the podcast that combines stupidity and learning. If that is your interest, then you came to the right place. I'm your professor and dean of this institution, Kyle Burseth, and as always, I'm joined by the head of the class here at WikiU, Jheisson Nunez.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming along this trip of ours. First off, thank you for joining us. If it's your first time, welcome. If you're returning, thanks again.
All right, lots of thank yous.
Oh, I'm full of thanks.
This is like Little Caesars in the 90s.
They were full of thanks?
Pizza, pizza, thank you, thank you.
I don't remember that. I remember the first half of that. Pizza.
I might have made up the second part.
I don't think it was thank you.
I just assumed they were polite.
But for you good folks out there, thank you for joining us. But please do not forget to like, subscribe, and most importantly, review and comment on wherever you hear this podcast. It helps us out, and it will help you out to make this show better.
Speaking of listeners, Jheisson, we have a listener topic today.
What? Hey, that's great. That's great news. A little interaction, a little audience interaction. I like it. It's this podcast is an experience. You guys can be a part of it.
This one came from Instagram.
Oh, great.
From someone named Remus Stanel.
Where's Instagram? Is that Italy? Where's that?
Instagram is...
Okay.
No, you're thinking of Instagramo.
Instagram.
That's in Italy. Yeah.
Instagramo, yeah. I like their pizza.
Thank you. Remus on Instagram said...
Wait, his name's Remus?
His name's Remus. Your cat's name
That's
is
my
Remus.
cat. Wait, hold on. Is this my
cat's...
Is this my cat's Instagram?
Did you make this account?
I swear to G. I swear to D-O-double-G that I did not.
His profile says, "Hello, lads." That does sound like a cat.
No, my cat is actually not British though.
Oh, well,
or just
because,
from the overseas. Okay.
Just because they say lads doesn't make them British. You're stereotyping, Jheisson.
My cat is a U.S. citizen. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's good, because here on this podcast, here in America, we gained our independence from Britain.
Yes, from people named Cremus. Or Remus, I'm sorry. That's my cat's nickname.
Your cat's nickname is Cremus.
Now, if his nickname is also Cremus, I don't know if I've seen him and my cat in the same room.
Okay, now I have a question.
Fire.
You're fire the question?
Yeah, fire off.
Okay. So you named your cat Remus.
Yes.
Where does Cremus come from?
Because Remus is like a human name. And I like to have my pets. I don't like it when pets have human names.
Oh, okay.
I like it, just a little flavor, Yeah. I don't want to go vanilla on their name. Like humans have vanilla names.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Like Kyle?
Why didn't you name him Cremus from the start?
Because I didn't name him.
This is a lizard move.
This is a lizard move named after the Harry Potter characters Tonks and Remus.
Oh, I thought it was going to be named after, like, Romulus and Remus. Who's Tonks? I know Tonks is your other cat.
Who's Romulus?
Romulus and Remus were the two... We can look it up. Do you want to look it up?
Let's do it.
Right, let's go to Wiki.
I think you're speaking of Cain and Abel, but go ahead.
I'm not speaking of Cain and Abel.
Who are you speaking of?
The founders of Rome.
Oh, the brothers?
Yeah, in Roman mythology, Romulus and Remus are twin brothers whose story tells of the events that led to the founding of the city of Rome and the Roman kingdom by Romulus following his killing of Remus. I'm going to killing of Remus.
My other cat, I would have named my other cat instead of Tonks.
Yeah.
Romulus.
Yeah, I would have too. Jheisson, I think you'll appreciate this. The image of a she-wolf suckling the twins in their infancy has been a symbol of the city of Rome and the ancient Romans since at least the 3rd century BC. There you go. There's the two twins. Now, wait, these are human twins suckling from a...
Giant.
Wolf. A wolf mother. And also, let me just say...
Kyle, a mother's a mother, no matter even if it's a wolf mother.
That is true, but... I don't like interspecies stuff.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't.
That shows how fucking closed-minded you are.
Accuse me of being closed-minded.
Yeah, I thought this was a university where it's kind of like a safe space. Because I'm very into that.
Well, you're welcome here, but I'm freaked out.
Okay. Well, brother, I'm about to freak you out.
Can I just point to you how many nipples the mother wolf has there? I see 2, 4, 6, 8.
It's a lot. It's like they can't really choose. They're like almost grabbing it. Like, oh, there's some falling here. Let me grab some with my mouth.
It's so bountiful. But that would also indicate to me that there were other Romulus and Remuses, like other brothers or sisters, that didn't make it.
Oh yeah, there was definitely, because back in the day, you don't just pop out 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
You pop out 11, 12, 13.
Extras.
Right.
Because
A baker's
the
dozen.
mortality rate pretty high, especially when brothers are killing each other.
Yeah. I think that's their version of Cain and Abel then, right?
I don't know. I mean, I assume this is BC.
Right.
So I assume Cain and Abel ripped.
Wait, Cain and
Ripped
Abel. Hold on.
off.
Cain and Abel, BC. That's before Christ, not before God. Cain and Abel.
Before Common Era.
Is that what it's called now?
Yeah. BCE, actually.
BCE. Before Common Era, which is the line is when Christ was
Theoretically.
rose, right?
If you believe in that stuff, yeah.
Well, I mean, he was a person. Now, if you believe whether he walked on water or not, but he was a person. That is a historical fact.
I believe
Jesus
that
H.
he
Christ.
walked on water.
Jesus H. Christ.
H was for Harry.
Actually,
Jesus, Harry Christ.
it was Hitler.
Oh
Yeah.
man!
Why do you think he went H on it?
That's a bummer.
You can't go full Jesus Hitler Christ. That doesn't have a good ring to it. I gotta be honest, it does not roll off the tongue well.
I think he went by Jesus Hitler Christ BH before Hitler.
BH definitely,
Yeah.
definitely went that. But hey,
He just stuck to H after AH.
the thing is, he was a man
Yes.
that had a couple bros with him. That's on paper.
Christ and his
recorded.
bros.
Right.
Coming to ABC this fall.
But what I'm saying, Cain and Abel, that is Jesus isn't in that story. That's
Sure, but they wrote the
God.
Bible. All right, I hate to make this a religious podcast, but we got Mr. Religion right next to me here. You always try to drive it to JHC.
I like how I'm Mr. Religion now.
Yeah, you are. You're Mr. Religion.
Well, I like sniffing around. I like to see what's up because
Okay.
I have no religion. I don't really.
You're a free agent.
I am a free agent right now. So pick me up.
Jason can be bought.
All I'm saying from what I remember, I never went to like a Catholic school or Sunday school or anything like that. But from what I know of from motion pictures is mainly stories is Cain and Abel was like from the Bible, like one.
I'll say
Right?
from the Old Testament.
Old Testament. That's what it's called. Yeah.
I believe the Old Testament, Bible 1, was a ripoff of the Torah by the Jews.
That's yes.
So I don't know when the Torah was written. I don't know if that was pre-Romulus and Remus or post-Romulus and Remus.
Let's look it up.
Ah, jeez.
I bet
Okay.
it's got to be in there.
All right, so remember this number.
Okay. Is it a phone number?
Although the tale takes place before the founding of Rome around 750 BC, the earliest known written account of the myth is from the late 3rd century BC. So remember that. 3rd century.
3rd century BC.
Now we're going to look up the Torah. The Torah. I was going to say maybe Cain and Abel, but all right, the Torah is the compilation of the first 5 books of Hebrew Bible, namely the book of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. In that sense, Torah means the same as Pentateuch, or the 5 books of Moses. which were probably tablets. He had to lug those tablets around.
His parents were like, these kids and their tablets.
Moses has been out there just chiseling away all day. I mean, I can't talk to him anymore. I ask him a question, he doesn't even look up from his chiseling.
Get that boy away from his goddamn tablet now.
He's like, Mom, I'm on number 3.
It's important work here, Mom.
Yeah, I'm working on some commandments. Okay, let's see.
Do you see any dates? 3rd century BC, correct? That was what I was supposed to remember.
3rd century. I'm looking. Meaning and names, contents. Oh. I got some. The majority of biblical scholars believe that the written books were a product of the Babylonian captivity circa 6th century BCE, based on earlier written sources and oral traditions, and that it was completed with final revisions during the post-exilic period circa 5th century BCE. So it sounds like it came after Romulus and Remus, but may have been from inspired.
Right. Okay. So Cain and Abel was inspired from
Most likely.
Or Romulus and Remus.
I don't want to say most likely. We didn't really dive into Cain and Abel. Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
Jheisson. Man, you really just love religion.
Are you a Cain or are you an Abel? Like,
oh, I don't know who's who.
Which Sex and the City character are you? Are you Cain, Abel, Romulus, or Remus? That's like the male Sex and the City version.
I'm having trouble keeping up here.
We all do.
Say that again.
Which Sex and the City character are you? Cain, Abel, Romulus, or Remus?
None of those characters were on Sex and the City.
The male Sex and the City, like BC.
Oh,
Sex and the City
original.
BCE.
I heard Sex and the City was inspired by Cain and Abel.
Yes.
Cain and Abel are traditional English.
That's such a Samantha answer.
Cain and Abel are traditional English renderings of the Hebrew names. It has been proposed that the etymology of their names, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's the etymology?
Original. Oh, you want to know the etymology?
No. I was just commenting on your blah.
It is thought to derive from a reconstructed word meaning herdsman, with the modern Arabic cognate ibil, now specifically referring only to camels. Cain is thought to be cognate to the mid-1st millennium BCE South Arabian word. So it sounds like it came from Arabic, not Romulus and Remus.
Okay.
I see nothing in here about Romulus and Remus. So maybe parallel thinking.
How did one kill the other again? Was it like a chokeout? Was it like a No Country for Old Men? When he just
Which part?
When he grabs him and he's like holding, I think it was a cop. He's like just holding the cop, like, or with his handcuffs. He puts it over his neck.
Well, I don't know how Cain and Abel killed each other. Oh,
Let's
only
look it
one
up.
of them killed each.
Yeah, one of them.
I can't keep up with your. This is like CCD class here,
well,
Jheisson.
I mean, I don't know. I've never been to any of those classes, but I know that story.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
So, okay. In the biblical book of Genesis, Cain and Abel are the first 2 sons of Adam and Eve. Oh, I didn't know that. Or I didn't remember that. Cain, the firstborn, was a farmer, and his brother, Abel, was a shepherd. The brothers made sacrifices to God, but God favored Abel's sacrifice instead of Cain's.
Yeah, Cain's a bad guy. That's right.
I wonder what Abel's sacrifice was.
I think one of his sons, maybe?
No,
No?
God said to Abraham, kill me a son. That was Abraham.
Kill me a son?
Abraham had to kill a son.
He said, kill me a son?
That's a Bob Dylan lyric. That's why I know that.
Huh.
God said to Abraham, kill me a son.
That's a good Dylan.
Thanks. Oh, man.
Thank you.
Here's a
pizza. Thank you. Thank you.
Here's a fun one. So White Bones was getting the mail one day, and I was walking up the steps behind her, and she opened the mailbox and was like, and it sounded like Dylan.
Yeah.
She wasn't trying to sound like Dylan. So, of course, I start doing Dylan. I'm like, what's in the mailbox today? I'm like, Bob Dylan getting the mail.
Yeah.
And the Costco connection was in there. Costco just throws you free marketing or what.
Yeah.
They're marketing Costco connection. So then I was just reading the whole Costco connection as if Bob Dylan picked it up at the mailbox and he's sauntering up his driveway.
Did you sing it a little bit?
Oh, wow, look at this. A new LCD.
55, 65.
Summer is for grilling. Look at these ladies who grill.
That is a good Dylan.
It's fun to do.
You been practicing?
No.
Practice every night.
Before you go to bed.
Yeah, I still can't get it right.
Lizard must hate that. Okay, so anyway, Cain killed Abel. Firstborn, typical firstborn.
It doesn't say how. Did he shiv him? Did he shank him
let's
in the
see.
rib, or was it like a choke?
I bet it varies from script to script, but Cain then murdered Abel, whereupon God punished Cain by condemning him to a life of wandering. That's it? Just wander?
Yeah, that's it.
That's not that bad.
Nah.
No responsibilities,
Yeah.
no duties. He's done being a farmer. He basically got Abel's job because Abel was a shepherd. Shepherds are out in the field wandering.
But I feel like Cain had to like wander like forever, like for eternity, and probably not like with purpose. And I think that's what drives somebody mad. Whereas a shepherd, yeah, he's walking around, but there's purpose.
The sheep are around.
The sheep are around, you know.
Is there purpose or is it all arbitrary?
No, it's for a purpose.
Can I just show you this painting of
Yeah,
Cain
yeah.
and Abel?
How does it
Look
depict
how
it? Let's see.
jacked these guys are.
Yeah, these guys lift.
They're yoked, man.
Yeah, they are. Is that no? But real quick, can I see it?
Yeah.
Is there Jesus, Hitler Christ? It looks like he's choking him with one hand, and then he's got a club on the other, and he's got his hand, so he's about to club him to death.
Okay, detective.
Yeah, and also I guess
It does
They
look like
both-
a clubbing.
it looks like. Can I be honest? It looks like Cain is not wearing any clothes, and he attacks Abel, who is also not wearing any clothes.
No, he's got a little man skirt thing on
Okay.
here. It almost looks like cut off sweatpants, which, God, back in the day, if you could get your hands on a pair of cut off sweatpants,
Yeah, some cut off knit shorts.
you're doing all right. You're ready to be
Ooh.
doing some wandering, I think, at that point.
Especially if it's a neutral color. I mean, the color combinations with that.
And get a good sandal.
Yeah.
If you're going to murder your brother,
Yeah.
make sure you got on a good pair of sandals ready to go for when God's like, get to wandering, buddy.
And I want to say sandals, not flip-flops, okay? You want something maybe like Italian leather.
Yeah, something with a strap on the back to
Yeah.
hold it all in place.
Keep it classy. You don't want that clanking.
It does also seem like maybe God
Ooh?
was a little like still trying to figure things out in terms of punishment at this point.
Yeah, like any new parents, you don't really know what's going to work.
I
You know?
didn't
Physical.
expect one to murder the other so quickly.
Yeah, so quickly.
Now, some people might blame the parents, Adam and Eve. What was going on in that household?
I feel like the grandparent is a little bit to blame because his presence is kind of just always there.
Yeah.
You know, because
yeah,
that's like one hell of a grandparent.
that's true.
That's not
yeah.
that's not my abuelita, you know?
Right. Yeah. Now kids, they get told their grandparents are watching down on them from heaven, but their grandparent was heaven.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I blame the grandparent.
So I feel like when it comes to like in that household, in that multi-generational household,
Mm-hmm.
God is still the one running things there, is letting the grandkids know what the deal is.
Yeah,
setting the
God-
rules.
Speaking of sandals, God should have slid off the sandal and hit Cain with it,
Give
right?
him a couple right behind the neck, show him what's good.
All right. Do you want to get to our topic of the day here, Jason?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay, so this is, boy, we really got off track. This is from Remus on Instagram. Mo,
That's right. That's right.
The Italian Instagram.
Not Romulus, right?
Not Romulus.
Okay, good.
Remus.
Remus keep sending us some requests.
So Remus said, my go-to wiki topics are unique cultures from around the globe. You should do stuff about Aboriginals. First contact with them was in the 1780s. Apparently the first one to visit London chose to go back to the wild. Oh, I'm not even sure you can say the wild, Remus, but chose to go back to the wild afterwards, and you could go into how the Aboriginals are the longest continuous human civilization. Sounds like Remus has quite a bit of respect for the Aboriginals, other than that little thing about going back to the wild.
Remus, I'm going to let that one slide, but that's the only one I'm going to let slide, okay?
Remus, you're getting a little wild.
One more of you're getting checked right now. That's all I'm going to let you know, okay? But let's continue. I feel like he does have respect for them. He's interested. And that is the basis of this podcast. So
That's the basis of learning. A little curiosity goes a long way, you know?
Yep.
Okay, so...
Or it could kill you, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Curiosity will kill the Remus.
Yeah. Oh, no, my cat. I got to check in on him.
So anyway, I went to Bennelong, who was the first...
Bennelong what?
Been a long time since we have
done any puns or wordplay.
Ooh, I hate them. I hate word puns. I hate wordplay. So Bennelong is the first Aboriginal that Remus was referencing.
Okay, he is the one that went from... Now, these are Remus's words. The wild.
You don't need to say the wild. You could just say Australia.
So he is, so what is his name again? I'm sorry?
His proper name is Woollarawarre Bennelong.
Okay, so Bennelong.
So
Bennelong is the Aborigine who went from, is it Australia or New Zealand? Or that area?
Australia.
You sure? Or is it? Okay, Australia. Great. Australia.
New Zealand, it's a different group of people.
Went to London and then was like, I'm all right. Or I should say, I don't know. Did he go willingly? Let's check in on that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, let's find out, Jason. You're just guessing based off of one loose Instagram comment.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Okay, so Woollarawarre Bennelong was a senior man of the Eora and Aboriginal Australian people of the Port Jackson area at the time of the first British settlement in Australia. Real quick, I'm going to go to Port Jackson just so we can get a sense of where in Australia it is. There is not an overall map here.
Was it New Zealand?
Oh, it's by Sydney.
Okay.
And we all know where Sydney is in Australia. I think Sydney is on the east coast of Australia, kind of in the center.
I just know the Olympics took place there.
2000.
Yeah.
Bennelong served as an interlocutor. That's a new word to me. I think it's a go-between between the Eora and the British, both in the colony of New South Wales and the United Kingdom. Okay, there is a section called Capture and Life in the British Settlement. Bennelong was brought to the settlement at Sydney Cove in November 1789 by order of the governor, Arthur Phillip. I'm sure they got that order and were like, oh, yeah, we'll be right there.
Oh, the Aborigine, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, what's an order?
Right.
An order from the who and the where now? You want me to go to what?
Yeah.
No, no, I don't think so.
So then they had to do what they had to do, which was capture the guy. That's terrible.
Capturing the guy, that was like the equivalent back then of like looping someone in on an email chain.
What, capturing somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, they're not responding. Well, just loop them in.
Yeah.
Loop them in. Loop them in right here.
You know, to let them
to
know.
The fort.
Yeah. Except that's passive aggressive, and this is just aggressive.
Aggressive was the passive aggressive of the day.
That's very true.
You were a white.
Yeah. Of BC.
Bennelong was brought to the settlement at Sydney Cove in November 1789 by order of the governor, Arthur Phillip, who was under instructions from King George III to establish relationships with the indigenous populations. At that time, the Eora conscientiously avoided contact with the newcomers, and in desperation, Phillip resorted to kidnapping. A tale as old as time. If someone doesn't respond to you, if someone doesn't reply to your messages, you kidnap them.
You use force.
That's the next step.
You use force is what you do.
A man named Arabanu was captured, but he, like many other Aboriginal people near the settlement, died in a smallpox epidemic a few months later in May 1789.
Was it a smallpox epidemic or a small regular pox epidemic?
Any epidemic is a regular-sized pox.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes I try to keep up with your logic, Jason, and my brain just like
I just didn't know.
short circuits.
I was just asking if it was a big smallpox epidemic or a small smallpox epidemic or a regular smallpox epidemic.
So we've got a smallpox epidemic going around in the colony. Was it a big smallpox or a small smallpox epidemic? It's a real who's on first situation. Not to get off topic right away, but we could go to smallpox and figure out
Get off? No.
figure out if it what a small smallpox epidemic is or a large smallpox epidemic. It's tough to say. Let's not go to that topic. Let's keep reading. Bennelong was captured on the 25th of November, 1789, as part of Philip's plan to learn the language and customs of the local people. God, this guy is really going about it the wrong way. I mean, this was November 25th. That's right around Thanksgiving. Do as the Pilgrims did. Have a big meal between people.
Yes, but they also didn't do it perfectly.
What?
Didn't the Pilgrims kill the Indians?
I don't know about the Pilgrims.
There's got to
killing the
be
Indians.
some
I know John
there's
Smith
no-
down in your hood of
Yeah.
Virginia.
Hell
I know
yeah.
there was some bloodshed, but I don't know about the Pilgrims.
John Smith, the chief killer?
It's tough to fight with buckles on your shoes.
Yeah, but it's not fun to run.
Exactly.
Okay, but I think wait, we're going.
Yeah, where were we?
Where were we? We were talking about the Pilgrims. There's for sure Pilgrims killed some Indians,
For sure.
right?
And for sure, Indians killed some
Whoa,
Pilgrims.
whoa, that's not in the history books. I don't believe that.
I think,
No,
okay. Cancel that. Cancel that thought.
your thoughts are canceled, man.
Damn. Okay, so as part of Philip's plan to learn the language and customs of the local people, he kidnapped him. William Bradley painted a watercolor of the occasion.
Of the kidnapping?
The occasion, yeah. It's weird to call a kidnapping an occasion.
Oh, it's a special occasion, if anything.
And described the capture in his journal as, quote unquote, the most unpleasant service he was ever ordered to undertake. Well, I imagine if he's undertaking the service of kidnapping, or was he just there to watercolor it?
Interesting. I'm thinking like back in the day, in those days,
Mm-hmm.
that's like a whole job in itself. Like you just send somebody to like get the kind of take a picture of that day.
The behind the scenes.
Yeah.
The BTS.
Right.
Photographer.
Kind of how like in courtrooms they got no one's really allowed in there, but there needs to be some sort of documentation, right?
Someone doing
or else
the
did
sketching.
it even happen? Or else like did OJ get away free? You know, it's like you don't know but we did see the painting. He did.
Oh, yeah. He did get away free.
Yeah.
I wonder what
Not the first time around. Not when he was driving the Bronco.
I wonder what those courtroom art pieces go for.
Ooh.
A good Judge Ito painting?
That's a good question. Like, where do they keep it? Is there a museum? Is there some sort of like judicial art museum? Like that's.
I mean, they're artists. They're doing it quick, probably.
Yeah.
So anyway, this guy was doing a watercolor of the occasion, and he said it was quite uncomfortable. His appetite was such that the ration of a week was insufficient to have kept him for a day, and love and war seemed to be his favorite pursuits. That's strange. Blah, blah, blah.
Wait, are we talking about the painter still? Or
No, I think we're
Okay.
talking about Bennelong, but it's
Uh-oh.
their interpretation of him. He's probably just speaking in his own language, and
Right.
and they're like, I think he likes love and war. The subplot of every single movie and story ever. It's
Right.
either about sex or murder, unless it's a comedy. Then it's sex and murder and slipping on bananas.
Yeah.
4 months later, he was cited by officers in Manly Cove, and Philip was notified. I guess he got away.
For a short time.
One account has it that on the day Philip had organized a whale feast Jeez, all you can eat whale.
Ooh, that's a lot of fat.
Because it's a whole whale.
Yeah. Did you know that whales are actually warm-blooded?
Oh, Jason's trying to pull facts that he can't remember.
No, I can remember.
Okay.
Whales are warm-blooded.
Because
Did you
they're
guys know?
mammals.
Because they're mammals.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why they can survive underwater, even though it's cold, very cold, the deeper you go, is because they have so much blubber around their bodies, keeps their internal temperature like legit.
This has been Legit Whale Facts with Jason Nunez.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so anyway, Bennelong had gotten away, and then 4 months later, one account has it that on the day Philip had organized a whale feast in order to reestablish relations with the Aurora, the governor hurried over and approached Bennelong, who was with a group of roughly 20 warriors. Philip took a gesture by Bennelong towards another Aboriginal person, Woollarawarre, as an invitation for an introduction, and extended his hand to the latter, who responded by spearing Philip in the shoulder.
Hell yeah. Yo, I respect that move, because first off, those fucking white guys are just trying to pull a fast one on them, throwing them the biggest
Thanksgiving
mammal
dinner ever.
But really, it's like, that's a pretty shit feast.
Yeah.
Again, we just talked about it. Mostly blubber.
You gotta balance it out. Get some corn, get a side dish. You can't just show up and be like, I have whale.
I feel like they were just kind of trying to showcase, trying to make it more of a spectacle. Like, you see how good we are. You see where we're gifting you this large feast, this food, but it's really just not that great of an animal to eat.
They were probably also like, hey, we killed one of those animals that you love out in the ocean.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? And they're like, we love the whales. Why would you do? Why would you? I'm gonna spear you in the shoulder, you asshole. Scuffle broke out, but the officers managed to lead the governor away to safety. Blah blah blah. It has been suggested that Bennelong had gotten Woollarawarre to carry out payback for the original kidnapping, which I can't blame him.
Wait, so say again. This sounds like a movie.
The guy that speared Philip. Allegedly, some historians have suggested that Bennelong got him to spear him on purpose because of the original kidnapping, which I would say pretty fair.
Yeah.
Yeah? If you kidnap someone, you might have a spearing coming your way.
Minimum,
yes.
But honestly, a spear in the shoulder, consider yourself lucky after kidnapping somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, you kidnap somebody nowadays.
Spear.
You'd be begging for the spear. A spear in the shoulder, or you do like 25 years in prison.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Okay, so let's get on to the visit to England, which Remus originally wanted to hear about or already knows about.
Great.
And at this point, he's probably slamming his head against a computer screen saying, get to the trip to London. Okay.
Because they're by boat, right?
Yeah.
They have to, and that's a long way.
Or walking, and then by boat. England is an island, so you're taking a boat to get to England.
No matter what.
One way or the other back then.
But I'm saying back then, you're going from Australia all the way around, right?
They might have ridden a whale.
Well, they were warm, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah. Bennelong and another Aboriginal man named...
deep breath. Take a deep breath.
Woollarawarre
I think you got it.
traveled with Philip on the Atlantic to England in 1792. I can't believe they're still with Philip. He kidnaps him. He spears him. And Philip's like, we got to go to England now. Many historians have claimed that they were presented to King George III, but there is no direct evidence that this occurred. Soon after their arrival to England, they were hurriedly made clothes that would have been suitable for their presentation to the king. They visited St. Paul's Cathedral and the Tower of London. A boat was hired and they went bathing. They went to the theater. While in London, they resided with Henry Waterhouse, and when Woollarawarre became sick, they moved to Eatham and resided at the house of Edward Kent, where they were tended to by Mr. and Mrs. Phillips and met Lord Sydney. Good to know. Woollarawarre died while in Britain after a serious chest infection, and Bennelong's health deteriorated.
Chest infection? When you say that, all I imagine is a scene from Alien when it just pops out of the chest. Like, what kind of infection can you get? Like
probably smallpox, COVID.
But infection, like what? Was there a wound on his chest? Like what?
Well,
kind of
no, you can get a chest infection like if you breathe in mold, maybe, or there's all sorts of bacteria. And also, you have to remember that these guys had been isolated, and their entire population had been isolated on an island.
Yes.
And all this stuff that the whites had built up resistance from.
Immunities.
Like smallpox.
Right.
Yeah. So Bennelong's health deteriorated. He returned to Sydney in February 1795 on HMS Reliance, the ship that took surgeon George Bass to the colony for the first time. Bass nursed him back to health, and in exchange, Bennelong taught him a sufficient amount of the Duroc to enable the former to communicate with the indigenous Eora on arriving in Sydney. Of the 2 years and 10 months he spent abroad, 18 months had been passed either at sea or on board ships in a dock. Jeez, what a miserable trip.
How long? And how long was this trip? This isn't
2 years and 10 months. But 18 months of it was on a boat.
That's terrible. And then but then he had to travel back.
I think that's part of the whole thing.
Oh,
that's part of the 18 months. So we'll say 9 months there, 9 months back.
Okay, I get he was captured, brought to London.
Yeah.
Then was it on him if like he wanted to go back, or was it like, all right, you had fun here, cool. We showed you to King or whatever. You're going back. Is that how it was? Okay.
It was probably the type of thing where I'm guessing Philip, the guy that got stabbed, was like, I gotta show proof that I'm doing something.
I tried. Look, I got stabbed.
Yeah, look at my arm. They didn't, but you didn't believe me.
I got receipts.
You didn't believe me? Look at this guy. He's not the guy that stabbed me, but he hired the guy that stabbed me.
Yeah.
This is the boss.
I was wondering too, when you buy or rent a ship or something, right? You rent. Does it come with the captain, or you captain it yourself?
Does it come with the captain? That's a good question. I
is that extra fees, like extra, kind of like parts and labor?
A big ship like that, I don't think they're just saying, "Here, take this, do with it what you want." I think it's kind of like a wedding venue. There is a representative on site for the entire evening or the entire trip.
But see, boats back then, they were so common,
Not big boats that are going to Australia and back. Are you crazy?
Well, I'm just saying it's kind of like cars. It was the cars of now. It's like, so that's the way I feel about rentals.
No.
Rentals are like, here's a car. Do whatever you want to it. And I do.
No, I would say this is more... Whoa.
What?
Whoa, it got a little sexual on what you do to rental
what are you
cars. Rewind the tape.
Well, rentals are like, here's a car. Do whatever you want to it. And I do. I'm a Hertz member.
Oh, you do make those cars Hertz. I would say it'd be more like renting a huge RV or something if you're comparing a car.
But those are also, they let you drive it. They don't give you an RV driver.
Okay, I'll say it's more like renting a wedding venue.
They don't always give you the events coordinator.
They do. They give you an on-site person to make sure you don't ruin their venue.
But again, you don't track. I don't think you're making a good comparison. One's a venue in modern day.
Okay.
And
well,
the other
sorry,
one, I'm trying to compare it.
I'm trying to give you a comparison to modern day.
Right.
All right,
so compare it to a transportation.
Fine. Okay. You want a trip to space with the bald dude. What's his name? Bezos.
But that's not common.
Well, these big ships weren't common.
I feel like they were common back then.
I think you're wrong.
They're fucking shipping things. This is the new world. They're getting spices. No. They're getting everything transported. There's
no.
That's like a big sailor's life is a life for me.
No. You're so wrong. You just said this is a new world, uncharted territory.
Not uncharted,
Does it
but
sound like space? Uncharted territory. They're going to space. Australia was space back then.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I don't think. And also, if you win you're buying a ticket to get on a shuttle. You're not buying the shuttle. They like rented the ship. So someone that wants to go to
You
space
don't know
with
that
Bezos,
they rented the ship? Maybe
you told me they did.
I didn't say that.
Or the thing.
You posed the question.
Well, they didn't buy the ship, right? So you hired.
I think the country of England. All right, I'm going to the HMS Reliance, you asshole.
That's the ship?
That's the one that went back.
I don't know why I'm an asshole when I asked a simple question.
HMS Reliance was a discovery vessel, kind of like a space shuttle, just going up to space, looking around. And it was owned by the Royal Navy. So it was paid for. They weren't renting it.
Okay.
She became famous. The ship was a lady, became famous as one of the ships with the early explorations of the Australian coast and other South Pacific islands. It was commanded by Henry Waterhouse. All right, I'm going to go to Henry Waterhouse so we can find out if he was a rental captain, a captain for hire, or just someone on payroll for the Royal Navy.
Right.
Sound good?
Like, did they have him on the retainer?
Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Captain Henry Waterhouse was an English naval officer of the Royal Navy who became an early settler in the colony of New South Wales, Australia. There you go. He imported to Australia the continent's first Spanish merino sheep, whose wool became one of the colony's best exports. New Zealand and Australia are known for their sheep.
Are they really?
Yeah, especially New Zealand, yeah.
With those lovely green pastures that they have?
Oh, yeah, good for grazing.
Good for grazing.
Yeah, you could have sent, what's his name, Abel out there, and he would have
time of his life
been happy, and Cain would have been wandering around. I mean, they would have, if only they had a better setting to grow up in.
Okay, so Cain and Abel, they're doing that in Australia. They run into Aborigines. What do you think happens?
Depends who's... I think Abel would have gotten along. Cain probably would have clubbed them to death. Maybe a
Cain,
kidnapping.
Maybe Cain gets mad that Abel gets along with the Aborigines.
Yeah.
And that's where like more of the jealousy like comes in, where it's like, oh, Abel's so fucking likable. Like,
yeah.
even people that don't even speak our language like him.
They probably also would have said, is God your grandfather too? I thought it was just us around.
What, the Aborigines?
That's what Cain and Abel would have said. Yeah, all they knew was Adam and Eve. But then there's these other people, and they're like, huh, what? He said we were the only grandchildren.
And going back to that, Cain must have had kids then, right? Because Abel died without having kids.
The lineage must have gone on.
Lineage must have kept going, right? It didn't die at Cain.
Yeah, one big inbred festival.
The Christ name died at Cain?
No.
Can't.
Christ came.
Oh, yeah,
Jesus
sorry. I
H.
mean, God.
Christ came after.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, well, do you want to wrap it up here, Jason? We've been
Let's
blobbing away for a while. I don't know that we really dove in that much to...
I think we did.
Okay, we found out.
We found out that, I mean, I thought that was very specific to Mr.
Bennelong? Yeah. Let's find out
Like, it was interesting to know his story. I never knew that.
Let's put a end to his story here and find out about his death. He died on January 3rd.
Keep it light a little bit.
Yeah, keep it light. He died on January 3rd, 1813 at Kissing Point on the Parramatta River in Sydney, and was buried in the orchard of the brewer James Squire, a friend to Bennelong and his clan. His death notice in the Sydney Gazette was dismissive, insisting that, quote-unquote, I don't even want to read this, but...
Damn, they gave him the kiss of death?
They did give him the kiss of death.
Up.
This is their words.
Australia's words.
This was the Sydney Gazette's words, so I'll say English words in Australia. He was a thorough savage, not to be warped from the form and character that nature gave him. So basically, I mean, in other words, he enjoyed his life as the person that he was, and they didn't like that.
Sounds about right.
That does sound
that they don't
right.
like. Sounds about right that, white people don't like how other people are living their lives.
Right.
Happily.
Yeah, exactly. Let's give him smallpox.
Smallpox or big smallpox?
Oh, they wanted to give him big smallpox. So that reflected the feelings of some in Sydney's white society that Bennelong had abandoned his role as ambassador in his last years. He was kidnapped as an ambassador.
Yeah.
At no point was he like, I want that title.
Right. They're like, don't you know it's a privilege to like be what do they call it?
To wear these clothes.
Right. That's so weird.
And you get to be an ambassador.
Well, I hope that Gazette is it the failing Gazette by now? Is it still kicking?
The Sydney Gazette?
The Sydney Gazette?
All right, we're briefly going to the Sydney Gazette.
Have they gone canceled yet, or have they apologized? Because that to me is to call a person a savage is pretty fucked up.
That's pretty savage.
It's pretty savage of them, yeah.
So
it tells us more about Sydney than it does of the wonderful Aborigine people.
I agree. It was the first newspaper printed in Australia, running from March 5th, 1803 until October 20th, 1842. So
Good
long
riddance.
gone.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the episode.
That was great. Hey, I learned a lot. That was very insightful.
I learned something new, and thanks to Remus for writing in on Instagramo.
Thank you, Remus. It was very interesting, and also I like that it kept us outside of the U.S. We tend to always be around Los Angeles, California, or United States, but this is a good learning expedition.
Yeah.
We're riding the Discovery ourselves.
Yes.
Set sail to the high seas of learning.
Yes, or a spaceship would be the modern equivalent.
I guess. All right. Yeah. I'll give you that one. Dude.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Please remember to rate and review us on Spotify and or iTunes podcast. Always remember to like and subscribe us as well.
Yeah, subscribe us. And if you have a topic you want us to cover, like Remus, send us a DM on Instagram or comment on Instagram as Remus did, or on TikTok. We are at Wiki University.
Slide up in there.
Bye.
Later.